Time now for Weather Watch with meteorologist Matt Makens.
Matt Makens here with this week's Weather Watch. Some great news in September for those in the Pacific Northwest, an uptick in moisture there. So we'll hit on that. What does La Nina, as it continues, what does that mean for October? We'll have the October outlook for precipitation and temperatures in just a moment. First off, that good news for the Pacific Northwest, certainly a drought-parched area, as we've talked about all summer long here on C2C, but an uptick in moisture for September for Northern California, much of Oregon, and parts to most of Washington. Great change of pace here, in part due to La Nina strengthening there in the Pacific. Elsewhere in the country, still bone dry from Montana down to California. Texas and Oklahoma were particularly dry, and a good chunk of the Corn Belt, large portion there, was drier than average for much of September, up until about a few days ago. Now let's talk about the outlook, and it all mostly hinges, I should say, on La Nina. And that ocean right along the equator in the Pacific, still cooler than average, and that implies La Nina. And the atmosphere has reacted to that colder ocean, and it's acting in a La Nina way. And that's due in part to the increase in some of the moisture we've seen for the Pacific Northwest. That outlook, again, due in part to La Nina, is going to continue for much of October. So in October, the Pacific Northwest may favor from a wetter than average period, especially those closest to the coast. The farther from the coast and then you reach Idaho and the mountains of Montana, that's when your chance for wetness begins to drop. Very dry in much of the Rockies from central to southern Montana, down through Wyoming into Colorado. Out of the eastern plains, that's going to be some drier than average pockets as well. Colorado into Kansas, and then Texas into Arkansas, Louisiana, and Mississippi will have some drier than average conditions as well. This is barring any sort of tropical storm or hurricane activity that may end up impacting the East Coast. It's been a very active tropical season. As far as temperatures, just about the entire lower 48 likely to be warmer than average, particularly the northern high plains. If you're in the extreme coastal areas of the Pacific Northwest, that's where you stand the best chance of staying a bit cooler than average for the month of October. Again, this is just October. Largely hinges on La Nina. La Nina likely to stay with us for quite a while. I discussed that at length in the National Cattlemen coming your way, as well as the Fall Directions magazine with an outlook all the way through May and what La Nina means for your planning purposes well into 2022.
Welcome back. As we wrap up our show talking about the strong relationship between the beef cattle industry and the corn industry, I just want to say thank you to you all for coming today and sharing your insights and wisdom with us. We really appreciate it and really appreciate this strong relationship between the beef cattle industry and the corn industry. And the National Corn Growers Association represents nearly 40,000 dues-paying corn farmers nationwide, and the interest of more than 300,000 growers who contribute through corn checkoff programs in their respective states. To learn more about how they're building future markets for corn, visit the website ncga.com. Well, that wraps up this special edition of NCBA's Cattlemen to Cattlemen. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you again next week, right here on RFD TV.